can't get it.
But you see how much kidnappers are taking from victims.
Please, government should all the stakeholders get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed. And once you get the support, your airline people will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning. It's another edition of Inside Nigeria this Tuesday morning, October 26, 2021. My name is Bode Gbadebo, and of course, as usual, I'm not alone. I'm with my regular co-anchor, Winifred Ogbebo. Winifred, good morning.
Good morning, Bode. Good morning, viewers out there. Welcome to Inside Nigeria.
Thank you. Yeah, and of course, from viewers can see, we have a fresh new guest joining us for the first time debuting on Inside Nigeria, Mr. Desmond Utome, publisher, Fresh News Online. Desmond, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
Winifred, I don't know if you realize that we are having people back to back from Edo State yesterday and today. You don't realize that?
But are you insinuating anything?
I'm just telling you. Yesterday we had a guest Edo born, and today another Edo born.
You show how much they are in the media industry.
Oh. You are too much.
There is a good dominance in the industry by the light, as a matter of fact.
Okay. I'll find out. Our viewers, as usual, we're starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. On the front page of Leadership this morning, 2022 budget, zero allocation for fuel subsidy, raises fear of price increase. 2022 budget, zero allocation for fuel subsidy, raises fear of price increase. Market forces to determine fuel pricing, not making provision for subsidy is symbolic, according to experts. Desmond, we've been saying there should be end to fuel subsidy regime, but now there is fear that the price of petrol, PMS, will increase. Why should we not fear of price increase at the same time we are saying there should be end to fuel subsidy?
Yeah, the issue of petroleum subsidy is something that is always very controversial. It's always a turning issue when you look at it. By the time you have a very close look, you realize that there is no way there is adjustments in the pump price of PMS that it doesn't affect almost everything in the country. For example, if you adjust the PMS pump price from 100 naira to 150, automatically the first thing that follows is the cost of transportation in the country. So you have to carry goods from one place to the other. So, and there's also concomitant effects on other products, because by the time the prices for fare increases, like you rightly mentioned, food prices, which probably is being transported from one part of the country to another, will also increase. So those are some of the implications. And people are, of course, if the price increase in food, if it increases in transportation, it also affects every other players.
Exactly.
If, for example, I used to take transports 100 naira from a part of Abuja to another, and now it is 150, and I'm carrying wares, what do? I will increase the ware.
Right,
so it continues like that until it gets to the final consumer. So automatically it hikes inflation or inflationary rates in the country. So that is one of the reasons people are very, very
justified.
Yeah. Then other thing you also look at is the fact that, like I said, the economy generally. Then there is a political wing to this. So to put it very clearly, there are political and economic dimensions to fuel price increase.
Okay, tell us what are the political undertones?
Yeah, political dimension has to do with we are in democracy. Thank God we have exited into whereby the military junta would have just been able to decide whatever they want without anybody questioning what they have done. Even if you go on the street protest, you do that at your own
Please.
But this time around, this is democracy. You know, you are going back to the people to go and canvass for their vote after 4 years. And if they feel that you have imposed more hardship on them by reason of the increase in fuel pump price, definitely they might be waiting for you. So, in a bid not to offend the people, uh, most leaders lack that political will or not want to demonstrate that political will to implement the removal of fuel subsidy. But we also know very well that fuel subsidy has been very controversial. The scam that came with it, the burden of having to spend almost £1 trillion on an annual basis on a commodity that eventually does not affect everybody in the society, because if you take the people in the rural area into consideration, they don't feel what we feel now. Most of them don't even rely on this transportation. They don't rely on this increase of subsidy that we enjoy in city center. So there are a whole lot of questions that needs some answer. The political will is very, very important on the part of the leader, and I think this time around, somebody like President Muhammadu Buhari, who is not contesting an election, even though his party will still be going into the election, should be able to demonstrate that political will, because it will be in the interest of everybody for us to once and for all remove this subsidy. And I can tell you why.
I mean, it seems as if Nigerians will find ourselves between what they call the stone and the hard, yes, the devil and the yes, the stone and the hard place, because we don't want subsidy because it's prone to corruption, and at the same time we don't want an increase in the pump price of fuel. That's a very, very serious matter. We need to move. Okay,
talking about, don't you think that this Dangote refinery
coming on stream will change the narrative?
Yes, I think so.
I agree that would change some things, but I think it's also not too wise for us to want to build all our hope around the business of one man. In a country where you're talking about energy security, all right, what then would not be the position? What then would not be the stake of the government in deciding what the fuel price is, vis-a-vis the energy security I mentioned earlier on? I think what should have been a response, what should have been an answer ab initio, was for the government to make sure that the government-owned refineries are working. I understand that the Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, recently announced that the Port Harcourt refinery is under repair. I think they categorize it into 4 different categories.
So the contract will take about 18 months or so.
Yeah, we'll be able to have some of these refineries back working. But then, until that happens, all right, we are still subjected to this crisis, because anytime where crude oil price goes up, we are expecting that we're going to pay more, and that places more burden on the federal government and their finances, which probably they would have been using for other meaningful development. So it's not really something that we should share for now, until we're able to find a lasting solution, augment with Dangote refinery, but we must not rely on it holistically.
In fact, Desmond, for me, I believe as a nation, it should be shameful for us to even make reference to the Dangote refinery, because if an individual can do that, come up with the largest in the whole sub-region, then why can't a country like Nigeria make our 4 refineries work for us? All right, we need to move away from fuel subsidy to the economy. Winfred, what do we have on national economy?
National economy today, NESG 2021. Poverty rate in Nigeria higher than most African nations. NESG 2021. Poverty rate in Nigeria higher than most African nations. We must rescue nations' economy now, according to stakeholders.
Yes, that is exactly, and that verdict that poverty rate in Nigeria is higher than most of African nations is coming from Nigerian Economic Summit Group 2021, which is ongoing here in Abuja. Desmond, what is your take? Is this true or not?
Yeah, I think yes, it happened at the NESG 2021, but I think the statement was actually made by the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Moshe, while giving his keynote address. It said that Nigerian poverty rate is hovering around 40-45% over the years, whereas In some African countries, they've been able to reduce it to about 20%. So, of course, you can also tell why Nigeria is where it is. But first, you have to put out there is the fact that we've not been very lucky with leadership, both at the central and sub-national level. Leaders have not taken the interest of the country into consideration. They have been very selfish, and with that, people were more interested in feathering their own cows, people were more interested in feeding their pockets as against taking steps that will alleviate poverty in the country and will better the lots of every man and probably place the country at a pride position. Uh, if you look at during the period that we were in the military era, you realize that people were just stealing from the country. Even when we came into democracy since 1999, we've had so many scandals, so many looting, review from successive governments, and you want to ask yourself, why do people steal the way they steal? And if they have channeled these resources into real development, providing jobs, developing infrastructure. All of these things have the multiplier effect of reducing poverty in the land. But unfortunately, this is not what most of the leaders have done. So the lack of vision and the lack of sincerity and commitment to national development on the part of our leaders is one of those problems. Our population has also been a major problem. It's supposed to be a gain for us. Like China has been able to translate their population into economic gain, but ours has not been so. The reason is also simple. One, we have not empowered the population, and two, we have not given them education. Where education is lacking, people are without innovations. People cannot contribute. So the larger population we have in Nigeria is actually dependent on the meager resources that the federal government comes up with. And because governments, governors, and even presidents over the years have also not been very, very creative, all right, in multiplying this wealth, it's now very difficult for you to continue to use that same amount to sustain everybody. So it's another reason that we have poverty. Of course, if you look at within this administration too, they have also not been very lucky. If we are to single them out and also talk about within the last 6 years or thereabout, they have had to country have had to slide into the recession.
Yeah.
Of course, we also need to commend them for being able to pull the country out of this recession. But with all of these things, the insecurity in the land, you can tell that if we don't do something very, very drastic, all right, the poverty level that we are now is going to be a child's play compared to what's been coming because the resources is dwindling by the day. People are moving away from crude oil. They are moving away from this dirty energy to clean energy. So because of that, the demand for your products will continue to reduce. How much barrels per day do we produce currently? And how much is our national income earning on a yearly basis? And you have to share this money. I'm sure you probably might come to another story today that is talking about the multi-mandate, so Northwest, the mandate for a larger chunk. All of this give me money as against I have created wealth,
Too bad.
which is our problems that we're having.
I don't know. Okay.
In respect to what Desmond was just saying, why do we have leaders that are not even out of the box, and the populace too? They're not doing anything about it. Everybody seems to be laid
Complacency.
back.
The
Exactly.
leaders have to first of all create the right environment for these things to thrive.
Exactly.
I must tell you that Nigerian people, the ordinary Nigerian on the streets, particularly the youth, this new breed of people,
Yes.
have been taken out of the box. They've been going the extra miles on their own without real concrete government support, all right, to do some things that you want to consider as world standard. If I have to say this, for example, we have two young guys that came up with this pay stack, all right?
Yeah,
Financial
yeah.
inclusion. At the end of the day, they got it was bought by I think an American company.
Yeah,
For
for
so
over
much money.
$200 million.
Yes, that shows the extent to which Nigerians are being innovative. You
That
travel
will
out of this
flutter
country,
with.
yes, you travel out of Nigeria, you see so many things that Nigerians are involved in medical, in the economy, in legal. The Nigerians are all there, but the right environment is not provided at home. So you see this brain drain. People are moving out in droves, all right, to go and build the economies of other countries. Take entertainment, for example. See what our boys are doing out there, entertainment wise. All right, so much revenue is in that area. I recently talked about the creative industry, uh, uh, grants, and all of those things, but this money is really not getting to the people the way it ought to. Do more with it.
But what about in the area of choosing viable leadership for the
Yeah,
country?
that's what I said earlier on, that
They are not
we've
enough.
had a major problem of not having the right leaders in place for, since Lagos is independent, all right?
The youth,
So
considering their population, could have played a critical role. If
I
they
agree with
wanted to.
you.
I think the youth,
vice
despite the
president-
number, they are disenchanted. No, they are not part of the.
Yes, this
Yeah,
is that's
Yeah,
why I'm
the
worried.
vice president said something recently. President Yoshida said something recently that if you need to actually make your voice heard, you have to get involved in politics.
Exactly.
I think the pain has been that most of us have not been interested in politics. I can tell you now that you don't have interest in politics. But he doesn't have interest in politics. I probably do not have interest in politics. We all sit back. Probably we can contribute better.
Exactly.
We all sit back, we don't contribute our quota to politics. At the end of the day, what do you have? If the right people do not get into politics, the vagabonds will find their way into power
Exactly.
and they become your VIP.
But what about the issue of making your vote count? For instance, I have not been, like you said, I'm
Yeah,
not
political
interested, but I
participation.
vote.
Yeah,
I've always
political
voted in
participation
elections because
comes in
I'm
two
interested
dimensions.
in
Yeah,
who becomes
political
my leader.
participation comes in two dimensions. One has to do with you seeking electoral position, all right. The other has to be you voting for the right
Yes.
leader, all right. But this also has some questions because if you look at what our electoral process has been over the years, it discourages the people who want to go there and vote. Situation whereby you finish voting and your vote doesn't count. So next election, you wouldn't want to vote. But I think there is a new wave in the country. In 2015, it started. All right, it was for the first time that we were seeing a sitting president being ousted. All right, by ballots. That was for the very first time. It has never happened before. We already know what the power of incumbency has always been in Nigeria, but it happened. All right. Some people want to make reference to the fact that the person who had the position then, in the name of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, was ready to play by the rules. Otherwise, if he had opted for the sit-tight approach to things, probably that would not have happened. But that's happened. So that is a precedent already. If you also look at what happened recently, last October, the NSAS protest, for example, it shows that when the youth are resolute, they can get the result they want. I think what they need now is proper coordination. All right.
Employ the right
Somebody,
approach.
yes, look for somebody they think can actually drive the vision that will take Nigeria out of this wood to the place of choice. All right, and move en masse towards that direction. It will become very difficult for anybody to want to win election where he's not popular. People usually win election with the collaboration of the people and probably where it's popular. So when the youth decide to move against you, all right, and for the right candidate, they think that we change the things in Nigeria, definitely things will also change. So recruitment process for a leader is another thing that is very key.
Exactly. Thank you so much. So far, I need to go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue to dissect the leading story on some front pages. We'll be back shortly.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Welcome back. It's still inside Nigeria here at the Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio, where you have the last word as the viewers. Well, we see with us Desmond Itome, the publisher of Fresh News Online.
Thank you.
Winifred, we have one comment so far.
Yes.
Let's see if you can have the comments on the screen. Okay, so read that comment for our viewers.
On Itongbaye Moses, he said Dangote can't change the narratives in this country. Since Dangote take over cement and roads and notes business in this country, Nigeria is getting worse.
Well, that is the person's
Comment.
personal opinion. Well, we welcome more comments as you are watching us and listening to us. Drop your comments. Let's hear your view, because it's a place where you have the last word. Thank you. Thanks to the commenter there. Well, we need to go to the next newspaper on our main this morning, and that is the Daily Sun. On the front page of Daily Sun this morning, Gumi, Nigeria will end if Buhari brands bandits terrorists. Gumi, Nigeria will end if Buhari brand bandits terrorists. Gunmen kill 18, abduct 7 in Niger Mosque. Ohaneze, Middlebelt Forum, Khan, Ninas, INC, Kaigama, Mogeku, Kokori, Wazurike, Chekwa, Okori hit Islamic cleric. Well, many people here have condemned the Kaduna-based Islamic cleric, Sheikh Dr. Ahmad Gumi, for saying that branding bandits as terrorists will come with a price. Do you believe that?
I don't agree with him.
Say there will be consequences. I don't know what it means. Right?
I don't agree with him. We all know very well that Gumi has been a mouthpiece of the bandits for some time now. We don't know what his intentions are, but whether he means well or he means bad, some of his views are also not acceptable to every one of us, and this is one of such views that some of us cannot relate with. Over time, I've called these bandits terrorists, all right? And I know governments, with time, will eventually accede to the earnings of Nigerians, also labeling them terrorists. They are terrorists too. What has happened is that most of these people have moved from the northeast, which has been like their base, where the Boko Haram is one, to northwest, and they are raining terror on the people. What is terror? Or what is terrorism? So what is banditry? Banditry has to do with high-scale robbery. All right, that is what banditry is all about. But terrorism is you visiting terror, harrowing experience on the people. And what are these guys doing in the Northwest? It's beyond just kidnapping. It's beyond collecting ransom. It's beyond taking people's properties and all of that. They are visiting terror people. Anybody who could bring down military fighter jets is no longer a bandit. That is no longer an armed robber. Any group that can move into the Nigerian Defense Academy, all right, carry out the shooting that they did, left with officers and all that, those are no longer mere bandits or mere criminals. These are terrorists already. Anybody or any group that can bomb our railway is no longer a common criminal, a common thief. These are terrorists, and their intentions have been made known. How is their intention different from that of Boko Haram? Boko Haram, the name suggests that Western education is a taboo, all right? And that is Boko Haram. And one of the things they did at their earliest stage was to try to take school children from their school in a bid to deter them from going to school. And what are these people also doing in the Northwest? So the character traits are the same. So it is unwise for us to keep pampering these people, thinking that they will eventually give up. They are just fighting for interest of the people, that they need more this, they need more that. That's not just mere agitation. These are terrorists. When we had agitation in the South, the agenda was very, very clear. All right, and government had to listen. And the president that eventually changed the tide was a northern president, the name of Omar Musa Yar'Adua. It was not even a case of, okay, fine, let me please my brothers as a southern, not even Jonathan. It was Yar'Adua that changed all of those things. And because he saw what the problem was. But these people are rebel without a cause. So they are terrorists. And they have visited more harm in the country than anybody can imagine. So I don't think we can continue to handle them like this. I will just say this before I end. If you continue to call them bandits, there are certain kind of operations you cannot carry out until you label them as terrorists. Because when you visit that kind of force on them, because there are always two approaches to it, kinetic and non-kinetic approach. So the non-kinetic is not working any longer. So we have to go with full force. So until you declare them as terrorists, you cannot visit that force. All right. And if you don't do that, you probably might not be able to win the war because human rights issues will always come up. But by the time they are declared terrorists and you move after them, even the international community will support you.
Yes, this one on what you just said. We saw an interview on Arise Television,
Yeah.
and the customs man was saying that they took some of the smuggled rice
Yeah.
to the bandits in the bush.
Well, with what the military has been doing in the northwest, of course, we also need to commend what they have been doing, like shutting down telecom services in this place and smoking them out and all that. With what they have been doing, the place is becoming hotter for them. Talking about particularly Zamfara, but of course, some of them are also running away from Zamfara to other neighboring states like Kaduna, like Niger, Katsina, and all of that. So if you look at what they have done, there's shortage of food to them because they've been able to cut off all of those supplies. Some of their informants have been arrested and all that. I think they also need to intensify intelligence far more than they are doing. They have done very well with what we have seen, but they can do more. There's always room for improvement. So since they have cut off supplies to these people, some of these bandits, in quotes, for them, of course I call them terrorists, are now begging for food. So what they do now is to block some of these people with the food. Okay, not just kidnap humans, also kidnap food, if you don't mind. Take this food, at least for them to survive, first of all. These are some of the things they are currently doing. But I think we can actually win this war against them because the superiority of our force is what I still believe in. This ragtag army cannot defeat our military if we demonstrate the political will and the force that we need to channel into this fight against them.
We're talking about political will, and let's look at lack of the political will. Many people will blame Sheikh Gumi for being, like you said, a mouthpiece for the bandit. But for me, I don't want to blame Sheikh Gumi. You know why? I want to believe Sheikh Gumi is only acting out the body language of the present government.
Yes.
If he knows the government frowns at the activities of the bandits, Sheikh Gumi will not come out to defend the bandits because he believes the bandits have a cause. He believes they've been violated in the past. Now, if he knows that the government frowns against the activities of the bandits, Sheikh Gumi will lack the guts to come out to defend those that the government frowns at. Now, let me cite an example. I have seen the National Security Advisor holding press conference at Atua Villa, giving us updates about the annihilation of Boko Haram terrorists. Just last week, he told us the new leader of the Hiswa had just been killed, and even the successor of Abanawi and the CDS also a few weeks ago told us that they killed Al-Banawi, giving us updates. We have seen the Minister of Justice and Attorney General telling us that these are the financials of Igbo and Kanu. But we have not seen the government of President Buhari telling us about bandits in the Northwest. These are the bandits that brought out multi-million naira fighter jets. No press statement from Asolo, no briefing. So that shows you a kind of preferential treatment of criminals. Probably that's what the Sheikh is seeing, and that's why he's been encouraged to say, see, these people too have a cause. We need to protect them. You can imagine.
Well, I think there are two ways to look at this. Probably the government needs to speak more.
Exactly.
Yes, probably. But I think they're also talking. There's something I've also observed about President Muhammadu Buhari. He has not been the leader that talks too much about what he wants to do. He hasn't actually been. Sometimes you see him just act. I know with the security meetings they have had, thank God you are also usually there. One of the things he has said is that if we have to go by what he has said, is that he wants to see Nigerians sleep with their two eyes closed. I remember that very statement very vividly. All right, and he has told the service chiefs even before those last ones were retired. I remember that very briefing by the NSA that they are doing well, but their best is not good enough. You remember all of those things?
Exactly.
That is like charging the
Service
security
chiefs to do more.
operatives to do more. So if he doesn't want it done, he probably will not be using those kind of statements. You see, sometimes some of these lieutenants, some of these subordinates, some of these people you give responsibility to might not carry them out the way you have charged them to. All right? Stop watching the body language. Go ahead, act what he has directed you to do. What are the discussions they're always having at those security meetings? I'm not sure they are pampering the bandits in that security. I'm not sure they are doing them with some kind of guard, but okay, fine, let's protect them and all of these things. In the security meetings, they always discuss how to end all of the threats that we have from these people. And if the resolution there is go after them, and you come back and you are not going after them because you are watching the body language of the president, that means you have also filled your responsibility. Tomorrow, we're also going to remember that when you were a service chief, all right, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So go out there and fight. I will just land with this. Before General Mohammed Buba Marwa became the chairman of the NDLEA, we were not having all of these drug wars like this. All right, he came in a week after we started saying accepted this number of
and regular
and
updates.
it became a shining star immediately.
Exactly.
But there was somebody there before. Why were you waiting for the body language of Mr. President? You've been given an assignment. Go out there and deliver on it.
Right.
That is what I think should be done.
You're right. All right, the last paper on our menu this morning, it is the Winifred. What do we have?
And this
Okay,
New Telegraph.
not this, the New Telegraph.
New Telegraph, okay. Anambra Guba, INEC's ad hoc staff resigned a month over IPOB's threats. Anambra Guba, INEC's ad hoc staff resigned a month over IPOB's threats. NSA Risk Riot Act says rogue elements will face justice. Election will hold as scheduled, says Commission. Southeast CSOs beg IPOB avert emergency rule in Anambra, share 1 week stay at home. That is on New Telegraph today.
Yeah, the ad hoc staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission are resigning en masse over IPOB threat. For me, Desmond, I believe this election might not hold at the end of the day because people will not come out to vote. Observers may not be on ground for fear of threat to their life. And, so what is the essence of the whole exercise? If you don't have voters and we don't have, observers and people who are supposed to be the workers, electoral workers on site.
Are we ready to give victory to those guys that are causing trouble in the Southeast as a country?
That's correct.
So if that question is answered in affirmative, then it's a shame on the country. But if it is the other way around, that we are not ready to give them victory, right, then the government should be able to do what it needs to do, all right, to make the election hold. I am glad that the body language of the government, if we are to go by it, is that election must hold. And they have even stated it emphatically that election must hold. I listened to one of the chairmen of the political parties, Senate Labour Party, that is also contesting fitting candidates in the election in Anambra this morning. And he said that it's very, very emphatic that government is ready to go on with the election. As a matter of fact, they are now the one that is advising government to shift the election. It is none of that government that's, normally it is government that wants to move election, but now they are the one begging government, let's move this election to a later date, at least still within the stipulated time within which you must conduct an election constitutionally. So that's their position now. But I think the responsibility of government here is to dominate that environment. I use the word carefully. I know they've also used this word. Dominate the environment means that you show force to these people that you are not bigger than us as a country. All right? And you cannot bring the country on a stool or to his name. We must not allow it. So if the government is able to do that, I am sure all of this crisis will be over. Good thing, this is an off-cycle election. It's not like we have elections across the country and we don't have enough hands to go to Anambra for that period. It's just a 24-hour thing, maximum 48 hours. All right, flood that place with security operatives. Then persuade the people to come out because their lives should be protected. All right, not just within the city center and its very also
the
at
rural
the villages
areas,
where you are having where the election will be conducted everywhere. All right, if you have that and people are sure that they are secure, of course they will come out and vote. There is no way we still will not expect some level of apathy, because no matter how much security you give to the people, there are those that will still be scared. All right, because they will also feel that you have over militarized environment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the threat of the
So
election.
it's also another threat. But then I think it is better we have an election, all right, with heavy presence of security than to succumb to the pressure of these people and allow them lead to having maybe a state of emergency in that place, or probably inability to get a replacement for the current governor and just appoint a sole administrator. That would be against the constitution.
That's true, that's true. Well, many thanks to your testimony, Itome, for coming on Inside Nigeria this morning, and we hope to see more of you.
Yes, it's a debut, like you call it. So we do more. I also want to use this medium to appeal to our people in the South to allow peace. If insiders are the ones doing this, as in my Igbo brothers, please do not destroy your state, do not destroy your geographical zone. But if this is actually imported, like some people are also saying in the South,
I don't believe that.
Please resist those people that were brought in.
Just
right? Do not support them, because you have to defend your home. They've suffered before during the military, the civil war, and they have been able to build back by themselves. They must not allow these miscreants in their midst to destroy what they have built over the years.
Is that your advice too?
Yeah, that's
to
always my
IPOB
advice.
and other criminal elements in the Southeast. Well, many thanks to you once again, this man, for coming. And like I said, we hope to see more of you. And to you out there, viewers, make it this without tomorrow for another edition of Inside Nigeria. From here, it's bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.